Hello and welcome. I'm Chef Patrick Evans-Hylton, food editor for Hampton Roads Magazine and executive editor for Virginia Wine Lover Magazine. You know, there are two flavors that are really favorite in the South. One is pork, and the other is some kind of chutney or relish or chow chow. And in today's dish, we're going to combine those two and make something that's going to be absolutely beautiful that everyone is going to enjoy around your dinner table. And we start with some really great center cut pork chops, and we're going to cook those low and slow. That's the way pork responds best to cooking and to a heat method. We're going to put those in some water, let them simmer a while, along with some salt, some pepper, some sage, which is so beautiful with pork, and also some garlic. And then we're going to finish that off by searing and getting some nice color on it. And while that's cooking, we're going to make a chutney. I've got some wonderful apples that I've cut up here, some onion, I've got some currants, some dried cherries, some apple cider vinegar, some beautiful earthy spices, also some brown sugar, and that's going to come together pretty quickly, and we're going to get this wonderful complementary flavor that's going to be placed on top of the pork. You know, chutneys have long been a part of Virginia history and also of America's history here, kind of a fall over from our colonial parents, and we've kind of taken those ingredients and those methods and made them our own. So now that we've got everything laid out ahead of us and hopefully you're hungry, why don't we go ahead and let's get cooking. All right, so now we're ready to cook our center cut pork chops. I've already prepared two that's in the skillet. I'm going to take the one we have left here and season that with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Flip that over and season the other side as well. Then in the skillet, that's going to go with our others. And then I'm going to take just some water, pour that in just until it covers the top of the pork chops. And I've got some other seasonings on here along with the salt and pepper, some of the sage, and also some of the garlic that we've chopped that's going to go in here as well. Now we'll cover this. It's going to go on the stove top. We're going to bring it to a boil initially, and then we're going to reduce it to a simmer and let it cook someplace between 45 and 55 minutes, watching to see how the water evaporates and to see how the pork chops are cooking. All right, so while our pork chops are cooking, we are going to make our chutney. Now, this is going to be just a quick and easy chutney. We're going to use some really good fresh ingredients. It's going to cook pretty quickly. We're probably going to eat most of it, to tell you the truth, because it's so delicious, but you can make more, and you can keep it refrigerated for a couple of weeks because the vinegar that's in it has some preservative qualities to it. So we have some onion that we minced. I'm going to place that in there. Then we have some apples. Just to chop those up nice and fresh. Then I have some dried cherries. Also some currants. Some brown sugar. Then some nice warm spices. I've got some cinnamon here and some nutmeg. You could also throw in, maybe a little bit of clove if you wanted to. You could maybe put in a little bit of star anise. And then we have some apple cider vinegar. Now this is going to go on the heat. We're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to let it reduce. And then while it's reducing, we're going to stir it occasionally. We're going to check the moisture content of it. We want it to get really nice and thick, but we obviously don't want it to dry out or to scorch or to burn. If that starts getting a little bit dried out, we'll just add a little bit of water or a little bit of even apple juice or apple cider to it. So this is ready to go on the stove, and then this should be coming ready about the same time that our pork chops are. All right, so our chutney is almost ready here, and then most of the liquid has evaporated from the pork chops. We have a nice dry Riesling here. I'm going to pour in and deglaze the pan a little bit with. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit on that, and then that's going to help kind of get some of those really nice tasty bits of brown that have come off of the pork chops in the cooking process here. And then we're going to let that sit just a couple of minutes, bring that back up to temperature to high, and then sear a nice color on that. And by then, everything should be ready with the chutney, and we'll go ahead and plate our dish up. All right, everything is finished now. Our pork chops have turned out juicy and moist, tender, delicious. We've seared them off a little bit. They got some wonderful color on it. That's complemented there with our chutney, which turned out fabulous. There's a little bit of sweetness to it, a little bit of tartness to it. Perfect complement to the pork. We've added onto our plate some mashed sweet potatoes and also some really delicious Brussels sprouts that we roasted in the oven. Brought out the caramelization, some of the sweetness of those, finished it off with a little bit of compound butter on there. And so now we have a plate that you, your family, and friends are absolutely going to love. So until next time, enjoy.